Hi guys, Ember here. Welcome to my Minecraft Bedrock tutorial for building an iron farm. So we are building this farm in survival, and let me show you what is needed. These items will also be listed down in the description. So to build the iron farm, you're going to need 14 stacks of a solid block of your choice, 3 stacks of glass, 32 stairs, 49 slabs, 40 magma blocks, 3 hoppers, 5 either redstone blocks or levers, 5 powered rails, 35 rails, a minecart with hopper, 10 workstations, I'm using the composter, a chest, 21 beds, and 2 buckets of water to make an infinite water source. You will also need, optional, 5 scaffolding, some lanterns, and then you will need food to breed your villagers. So before we start building, let's talk about where you're going to set your iron farm up. Your iron farm does not need to be chunk lined, but it does need to be in a space that is cleared at least 100 blocks in each direction of any beds or workstations. The reason that you're doing this is you're going to be establishing a village in this iron farm, and for you to do that, you cannot be linked to any other village, nor do you want your village to expand beyond where you're building this iron farm. So your actual space, your footprint of the iron farm is going to be 29 by 29 blocks, and then from the edges of those blocks, make sure that you have no beds or workstations within 100 blocks or so. So once you've done that, we can go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to do is pillar up 5 with your block of choice. Okay. And then you can hop down. We are going to be working off of the 3rd block to start with. So from your 3rd block, come out in any direction by 5. And then the opposite direction from where you just came out, come out by another 5. So what you should have when you're done with that is a row that is 11 blocks long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Once you have that, you can go ahead and knock out your bottom 2 blocks. So what we're going to do with this 11 wide area is we're going to make an 11 by 11 outer block, or outer frame rather. So come out from the end of that line you just made by another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then come out by 5 on this side. 2, 3, 4, 5. Do the same thing on the other end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then connect your ends that you just created. Connect the other end. Alright, so once you've built that frame, knock out all of your middle blocks, that original line that you started with. And you can also knock out the bottom, just leave that top block there. Okay, so you've now got this area built. So what you're going to do from there is you're going to get your rails, your minecart, your hoppers, and your levers or redstone, whatever you decided you were going to use. So pick whichever side you decided is going to be the front of your area. So for me, this is going to be the front of the area. And I'm going to come in to the 6th block, which is your middle block, and knock that out. Then I'm going to use a temporary block underneath, out, and over one to put my chest on. Once you've got that, you can go ahead and knock out the temporary blocks you used to place your chest. Okay. Then knock out the block on either side behind the chest. So here you're going to take your hoppers and you're going to place one into your chest directly from the back, and then place a hopper into that hopper on either side. So you have 3 hoppers basically feeding into your chest. So next, we're going to knock out the blocks. For me, I'm using the redstone, so I'm going to knock out the blocks where I'm putting the redstone. So you're either going to do that, or you're going to put your levers on the blocks if you're going to use levers instead of the redstone. So it's going to be not the first block by the hopper, but the next block. Same thing on the other side. And then on the other 3 sides, it'll be the middle block. Okay, so it's going to be this block right here for me. Just knocking it out and putting in the redstone block. Same on this side. And same on the back. Now we're ready to lay down our rails. So you're going to put regular rails everywhere along here except for those 5 spots where we put power. And those are where you will place your powered rails. Okay, so that is your collection system finished. You can go ahead and put your minecart with hopper on the track now, or you can wait until later. That's up to you. So next, we're going to build our platform for our villagers. So from that middle block that you left there, come out 4. No, 4. We're making a 9x9 platform for your villagers. From the middle block, come out to the other side by 4. So all 4 sides are coming out by 4. And then you can go ahead and fill that in. Now we're ready for our magma blocks. So you're going to go around the entire platform that you just made with magma blocks next. Okay, so come back around to whatever side you're going to be bringing your villagers in from, and you are ready to get your glass. So use either temporary blocks or scaffolding, whatever you want to use to come up to your platform, and knock out one of your magma blocks. So this is just temporary for us to bring our villager up. We'll be replacing that later. And build glass wall all the way around the 9x9 platform. So not on the magma, on the one right next to it. Leave this open where you're going to be bringing your villagers in. Okay. And then we are ready to set up the rail or whatever you're going to do to bring your villagers in. But before you bring your villagers in, there's something I'm going to do that's optional for you. I'm going to want to be able to trade with my villagers because I have them near my house here. So for me, I'm going to give myself a way to come in to their chamber to trade with them. So I'm going to come to the middle block and I'm going to knock out that middle block and I'm going to put scaffolding there. That gives me the option to come up here anytime I want to get into the villager chamber. If you don't want to trade with them, then just go ahead and leave your solid block there. Now we're going to put our roof on. I'm recording this a little out of order, so just ignore everything else. But let's focus on getting the roof done. So for the roof, you're just going to put on top of your glass here, stairs going all the way around. Okay, and then once you have your stairs in, you're going to place your slabs on the lower part of the back of each step. So just go ahead and fill this in all the way around. Now you are going to want your chamber lit up, and I think I talk about that later in the video too, but I'm going to go ahead and place in some lights once I get this done. Okay, so I'm going to grab my glowstone. And you don't have to use glowstone, you can just use torches on the inside if you want. I'm going to use glowstone. I'm going to come over here and knock that off, and I'm going to put glowstone here in the corner, and then I'm going to put my slab back on top of it so that it's still not a spawnable spot. And I'm going to come to the center and do that again. And do that in each of the corners. Again, this is optional. And there you go, your roof is done. So once you have your two villagers in here, and I showed you how I moved these villagers in here in episode 4 of my Let's Play, but you can move them in by any means that you normally move your villagers around. I used minecart to move mine. So once you have them in there, you've closed this back up, and if you have done like I have and left yourself that middle area to come in, you can get in and out of there for breeding the villagers and getting the beds placed. If not, you can just break the glass up at the top to jump down there and replace it when you're done. Okay, now that we have the roof on our villager chamber, we can go ahead and replace the magma block in that center area. And before we do any more work with our villagers for the time being, we are going to build out our platform. So you're going to come to the corner of the magma and come out 8 with your solid block. The other direction. You're going to do that on each of your corners. Now that you have pillared out 8 from each of your corners, go ahead and fill that all in with your solid block. Okay, so once you're done filling that all in, you should have a platform that is 28 by 28. And one way to check this to make sure that you've got this right is come to one corner, just go out from the edge of your magma out to the corner, and you should have 8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Check that on the opposite side. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so then you know this is all correct, and you can remove these pieces of glass. If it's not, then just adjust and make sure you've got this platform the right size before we move on. So the last thing we have to do for this platform is just build our edge to hold the water. So you're going to come out to any corner, doesn't matter. Place 1 and come up 1. So you're building the lip to retain the water that we're going to be placing. You can knock out that bottom block. Once you've done that, just circle your entire platform with that edge. Okay. Now that that's done, come to your corners, place 1 block in the corner, and then 3 up on that lip. And do that for each corner. Okay. Now we're ready to put in our water. So for this, you're going to place a bucket of water against each block on this lip, with the exception of your corner block and the block on either side of it. So these 3 blocks you're going to leave empty. Place a water source on each other block all the way around. Leave each 3-corner area empty for each of the 4 corners. Once you have your water filled in along the sides, then go to each corner and place a bucket of water on that extra block that we placed in the corner. So now our platform is done completely. All we have left to do is to work with our villagers to create the village environment needed for them to spawn the iron golems. So we came up through the center area where we had set up our scaffolding to enter here. And if you're concerned about having that open, you could always just put a trap door there instead. But the scaffolding's fine. So along the edge of one of the walls, we're going to put down 7 beds. Our villagers that we have in here will link to these beds eventually. Okay, so you can see now that our villagers have linked to these beds. You can go ahead and you can sleep in any of these beds as you're working with the villagers. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so now they're up. And what we're waiting for now is for them to start breeding. So it of course helps to give them food. Now, these guys have plenty of food, so they should just keep breeding right now. But if they stop, you can toss some additional food. It's not going to hurt anything. What we really want is for these 2 original ones to breed all of the babies that we're going to need. So we're going to want 10 babies. So we only want a total of 10. So we're going to go ahead and place down our other beds so that we have 12 beds, 2 for the original villagers and then 10 for the babies. So we're just going to place those along the opposite wall here. Okay, so that was the 10th baby they just had. So we can go in there now, double check our babies if we want. There's 10. So we can go ahead and get rid of these original 2 villagers. We only need 10 villagers, but you need 21 beds for a village to be considered, or for the villagers rather, to spawn an iron golem. So we already have 12, so we're going to place 9 more beds up there. And all we're going to do for this is place the additional beds in the middle. Okay, once all of your villagers are asleep, just so they're out of the way, we're going to go ahead and put down our workstations. Now again, these are not necessary in the current version, 1.14.3, for your iron farm to work, but they will be necessary most likely in the next version in 1.15. So we're going to go ahead and put them down just so it works for us still. So what we're going to do first is cover every open space on the floor with the workstations. And the reason that we're doing that is to take away any spawnable spot for the iron golem to be able to spawn inside this chamber. Because I'm using composters, I'm going to use carpet on top of my composters. And that is just so they don't walk inside of the composter and get stuck in there like they do sometimes. You would have to do that if you chose to use, or if you choose to use cauldrons as well. Either one of those. Any other workstation you would need carpeting for. Okay, so we have the 6 down, so I've got 4 left. So what I'm going to do is just go to the center of each of these areas on the wall and put the extra workstations right in the glass here. So now we have all of our workstations in. So as you can see, there's no open space. We have all of the beds, all the workstations covering the floor with the exception of this middle area, which we're using to come in and out of this chamber. Now if you're choosing to not have this area to come in and out, then go ahead and put one of those workstations from the glass here instead. And there you go. So the golem spawned. He's pushed onto the magma blocks, and he'll continue to take damage until he dies, dropping his iron on the magma block, which will then be picked up by the minecart that we have underneath. So it takes a little bit longer for him to die than it does in the lava, but it really does not make a difference. So the rates on this are between 32 and 40 iron ingots per hour, just because of the lower iron rates in Bedrock for iron farms as of 1.14.3. But those rates are supposed to be increased tenfold in 1.15. Whether they will or not, we'll see. But if they are, this farm will still work. So if anything else changes between 1.14 and 1.14.3 and 1.15 that causes us to need an alteration to this farm, I will release a video, but this should work as is. Well guys, that's it for this tutorial. If you have any questions as you're trying to build this, please feel free to send a comment my way and I will answer those as soon as possible. I hope that you've enjoyed keeping things simple with me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.